got an exciting day today. I'm meeting a YouTube friend. We've done a couple of live streams. We've kept in touch through messaging, but we've never met in person. So I've come about an hour and a bit away from home into a lovely little Leicestershire village to a pub, and we're going to have probably a bite to eat, a coffee, whatever, and then we're probably going to do a bit of joint vlogging. Now, I'm really excited about it because I haven't met her before, and I still get a little bit blown away by the fact that we can have online friendships that turn into in-person friendships. I don't know if anybody else still finds that a little bit funny. I love it. So I had a bit of a nightmare getting here because the road that we need where the pub is shut both ends, and I'm not familiar with the village, but I managed to find my way in. So I've got to the car park. I desperately need the toilet, so I'm going to pop into the pub while I'm waiting for Tracy to get here, and I'll talk to you again in a minute or two.
Oh, it's so lovely to meet you at last. Oh, look, you're a little like me. I thought you were taller.
Well, 5'6".
Are you? Oh, you've got a bit of a heel on. I'm 5'4", so there you go.
5'7".
I like it. That's totally throwing me that roadworks. I'd also taken the wrong. I was doing beautifully at the time.
Tracey brought me a present. Let's have a look and see what I've got. Ah, that's a signature. A little green frog. I love that. That is going in my camper van. Tracy's got a craft channel, and I think there might be some of her crafts in here. What this is. Oh, look at that. That's pro. That is Mini Scenes GB. That's Tracy's YouTube channel. Well, she's got a couple, but that's her craft channel. And it's my favourite colour. I love purple. Fab. What else have I got in here? There we go. Look at that. That is one of hers. This is gorgeous.
I like it.
Absolutely gorgeous. I love him. I love him. He's going in Pete the Van. I love the colours. Colours are stunning. So you know your Mini Scenes TV, your resin channel, your craft channel. Tell me how you got into it. Tell me why you chose to start your YouTube channel.
Well, I'd always been kind of crafty anyway. I was going to be a graphic designer at one point. I went to art college and decided it wasn't for me and all that sort of thing. So I'd always been into crafts. And then my dad was making a model railway layout and discovered that I could make rivers and things with resin. So I started getting fascinated by resin. And I was a bit bored, to be honest. I'd retired early. I'd been seeing people making stuff with resin on YouTube and thought, I want to try making that. And then I thought, I'll point a camera at it and see what happens. Like, that's what these people are doing. So
have you done any kind of filming or YouTube or anything?
No, I've been on, not really. I'd put a couple of odd videos on there. Just of me doing a lecture at a car show and things like that, but nothing, not properly, no. Just mates filming me with the phones and stuff. I've been on telly a couple of times, but not with me as being cameraman and anything like that. So yeah, I sellotaped my phone to the bottom of my kitchen cupboards like that, and put the kitchen light on and filmed the thing I was making, and then realised that I sellotape my phone up the wrong way, so I couldn't press the button to start it filming. So I unsellotaped it, turned it over, stuck it back on again, and away we go. Those videos are actually still up there on YouTube as well.
Yeah, there's a really strong message in there about just getting started, isn't there?
Just have a go, yeah. And I think people who said to me, weren't you nervous? And not really, because I didn't think anybody was going to see the videos anyway. And indeed they didn't. I think those early ones have still only got a couple of hundred views. Mark hasn't even watched them. So you've got that space to just have a go and nobody cares, you know. So
that was what, 2.5, 3 years ago?
About 2 years. Hang on, it was 2 years, 3 months, 4 months, something like that, 2.25 years ago.
When you got started, had you come across many other women of our sort of age, that were age? Because when I got started 3 years ago,
no,
I genuinely thought I was the only woman of my age who watched YouTube. I didn't think anybody else did.
No, very much the same. In fact, if you look back on my YouTube for Grown-Ups channel, the first video I put on must be over a year old now. And I just started it to talk about being an older person doing YouTube because nobody was talking about it. Well, next thing I know, you've appeared, and Rob the Maritime has appeared, and Kevin Colby pops up, and everybody. And there's a lot of people talking about it. But for that very reason, you'll see if you look at that channel, the first video I put on was, "Hello, I'm old and I've just retired and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to make some videos about it." But then I didn't do anything for ages, and then a whole load of other people had obviously had the same brainwave. But yeah, and it was strange because of being in this age group, I didn't know anybody else who was doing YouTube either. All the people I work with at the museum are all, believe it or not, other than a couple of them, I'm one of the youngest. So they all looked at me as if I'd gone a bit mad and didn't know what I was talking about. A couple of them do now. We've got some more sort of technically minded ones come along since. And my mum didn't even know what YouTube was. Mark just looked at me as if it's another one of my harebrained schemes. And yeah, I mean, I'm in the wrong age group to have friends that are just doing YouTube. So it was a bit of a strange one. Got nobody to talk to about it.
No, it is weird, isn't it? So on the way over here, I was just talking about the fact that we were meeting up. The next day, thinking, YouTube has kind of taken over my life. I've retired from my day job now, retired from my business, but YouTube is the one thing that I'm keeping up with. It's taken over my life in a good way. It's giving me an excuse or a reason to get out and try things. It's also getting me meeting other people like yourself. And I'm still again a little bit blown away by the fact that you can meet somebody virtually and create friendship virtually without ever meeting in person. So it's lovely that we've met today.
It's amazing. My two sort of online best friends, Julia and Jens. Well, Jens is the nearest. He's in Denmark. Julia's in America. Oh, another one, there's John. He's in somewhere in Northants, I think. But I've met him, but I haven't met the other two, and yet we've become like the very closest of friends. They help me with my YouTube, and we talk a lot, and they've become like my besties. And yeah, two of them I've never met. It's just crazy, isn't it?
So YouTube is your full-time job now, though?
It is, yeah. I mean, I go to the museum. I'm trying to cut it down to kind of once a week, because otherwise I would never leave the house and meet people. And well, I've got a thing for cars, always have done. It's like my natural environment, that museum. I can talk cars all day. So I've kept that up, not as an income stream. I mean, to be honest, I don't think many of us are there for an income stream. We're all retired people, just there for the love of the cars and the company and everything. But it's it's just keeping me sane or insane, depending on how you look at it. Because otherwise, I would just be sat filming and editing all day.
Yeah,
it's part of the reason I want to get out and do more things like meeting up with other people doing YouTube. Because I think we can all become quite isolated.
Yeah.
And I know you're aware of it, the Discord group I set up for all the crafty YouTubers. I didn't want any of them to be alone like I was. And I did benefit from a lot of support from a couple of other YouTubers, crafty YouTubers. That was Wendy at Toonfish Craft, Daniel Cooper and Claire's Crafty Corner. They were absolutely awesome to me. I wouldn't have carried it on without them.
How would you suggest people? So, I mean, I've done a few collaborations. I'm quite happy reaching out to people and just saying, "Do you fancy doing this?" But I think a lot of people are quite scared about collaboration, especially if you're brand new and you've got a very small channel. What sort of advice would you give to somebody if they wanted to try and collaborate?
Try it. What have you got to lose? I mean, my first attempt at collaborating, I can't remember how many subscribers I got. It was certainly well below the monetisation level. I think I got probably 200 or 300 or something daft. It was very, very small. And I contacted Wendy at Toonfish Crafts because she just struck me as being like really my sort of person, and she was ahead of me on subscribers, but not massive. But she's just such a lovely lady. And out of the blue, that's it. We're talking. We had a great long conversation on the phone. we'd realised that both of us like purple and dragons. So we did our collaboration. We both had to make something purple with a dragon. And she actually sent me hers. And that was my first collaboration. But she was, even though her channel wasn't massive at that point, it was a lot bigger than mine. And I thought, no, she'll never go for this. And then out of the blue, a few months later, by which point I think I had got monetised, I was starting to grow a bit. Daniel Cooper dropped a hint in one of his, when we were in a live chat at some point, saying we ought to do a collaboration sometime. So we did. But since then, I've joined in with the big mass collaborations. So there's something to look out for. If in whatever niche you're in, because you don't have to be brave to do these, it's quite an easy leap. Whatever niche you're in, try and find people that are already doing group collaborations. So with the crafts, it's easy. We'll have Christmas in July is our next one. We've had up to 70 different YouTube channels, all different crafts and hobbies, making something on a theme. So we've done Christmas, we've done Valentine's Day, we've done Halloween. And you just send the link to somebody who's put it, in the case of the craft one, it's me, who's putting together a great big playlist. And all your obligation is to provide a video by a certain date and remember to mention in it somewhere that people should go and watch the rest of the playlist.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's it. It's so easy to do a mass collaboration like that. And if you can't find somebody in your niche actually doing one, start one. Get a couple of, contact with a couple of other people in a similar position and say, shall we start one? Because off the back of this big mass one that we do with our group, within that group, they're all doing little ones. There's a sci-fi one that they're aiming for the end of the month. Well, that's nothing to do with me at all. That's just within their own little niche groups have just decided to do these things.
What about competition? Do you think you're collaborating with people who are potentially doing a similar thing to what you're doing? Do you worry about the competitive side of it?
My experience of it so far is that everybody benefits from it. All of us have a little burst in subscriber counts and views. Everybody in the collaboration do, and we all learn from each other as well. There's a lot to be said for supporting each other. I mean, that group that we do that we organise the main collaboration from, there's nearly 100 people in that group now. And, we'll be on there one day going, how do I do this with my editing? Or, has anybody else's resin gone a funny colour? We'll all be just comparing notes. And there's always somebody in the group who knows the answer to the question. And we're definitely finding that there's a strength in working together like that, in that all of the channels are growing at their own different rates, because it depends how much time they've got to put into it and where their skill level is at the moment. But they're all thriving because of working together rather than trying to compete, which I think is just absolutely wonderful. It's created quite a community, so it's definitely worth doing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that struck me about YouTube that I didn't get to begin with, was the community element, the idea that you can actually create a real community.
Yeah, you can.
And it's a two-way. It's a two-way community, which I never got. You can see it on Facebook and Instagram. I didn't realise you could do that on YouTube, but that's
you really can. I mean, the way my community has really grown, I'm stop calling it mine because it's not. It's ours. I just basically pressed a button and started a Discord group. Discord provides. It can be really complicated, but we've just set up a very, very simple chat group. And we've got like a general chat where we talk about everything from what the weather's doing to what your dog's up to that sort of thing. So there's a general chat, and then there's all the different topics, and we tend to have a thread for each, or a channel as they call them, for each of the collaborations that are going on. Then there's a general I need your help with something thread, and so on. So you pop your questions and answers in the appropriate places, and everybody piles in and has a look.
Is that a paid community?
No, it's completely free. I pay for the paid-for version of Discord so that I can post longer things on there, because I kind of organised it. But I think I'm probably the only one who is. Everybody else is just free. It's in there, and they're in there.
Have you not thought about doing it starting a membership?
I'm just using the memberships on YouTube for my memberships, because I want to keep it on platform. But no, I want that to always be free. And it's because they're what's making the group, not me. I can go for days of not going in there because I don't have time. And I said right from day one, this isn't going to be about me, and I am so not an expert. If I can help, I will, but my time is limited too. But this is down to you to all share, and that's exactly what they do. So, and every new person that joins the group, has got a bright idea or something they found out they can help with, or so really it's very much a team community. It's not mine. That's what I mean.
Yeah. And you've got another channel as well, haven't you? So you've got your crafting channel, but you've recently started wait, no, you've got loads of others.
Two. It's just two.
Yeah. So the YouTube channel, YouTube, remind me the name?
YouTube for grown-ups.
For grown-ups.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I started it initially over a year ago, and it was at that point where I was thinking, I'm the only old person on YouTube. It turned out obviously I wasn't. So I didn't do anything.
I'm old. We're not alone.
No, we're very much not alone, are we? It turns out. But I didn't do anything with it for a while because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it. But then I found that people from the craft community were starting to ask me questions about how do you edit? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I thought the easiest way to tackle this is to make a little video on it. Then I realised that my main channel, the craft channel, probably wasn't the place for that because it's a different topic. So I started putting it onto that other channel. Then I started to think back to when I started filming videos, and I couldn't find anything much on YouTube about how to do top-down filming. Yeah, did you need to edit it differently? What do you do about enhancing the colours and sharpening it up in your editing? What do you do about the sound, especially if you're going to have to wear a respirator mask, which you do with resin? You're going to hear you going like Darth Vader, There was nothing on any of that. So I then got this whole fascination of how people do film their hobbies. And so that's very much what that channel is building up to being all about. So I'm going to put on there lots of tips and things based on what people have asked me. Again, not pretending to be an expert, but just this is how I do it. If it's any help to you, if it's any help to you, this is how I do it. And also, investigating how other people film hobbies that are a bit peculiar. I won't say peculiar, but different in terms of how you film them, how you present them, how you package them for YouTube. Because I've realised that craft is very different.
How do you manage your time with two or more?
Badly. I don't. It's a mess. I'm constantly, and Mark keeps telling me off, he says, you're putting yourself under this pressure.
Do you have a posting schedule for your YouTube channels? I know you've got your random stuff, and that's probably not scheduled. But
random stuff, I just know. If I film, that's another channel where if it doesn't fit anywhere else, so I just film something interesting, I'll stick it on there whenever. The newer channel, the YouTube for grown-ups, no, and I need to get one. It's not at that stage yet. But my main craft channel, yes, it's a proper posting schedule. Wednesday, unless there's something goes horribly wrong. Every Wednesday, a normal video will get posted up, and every Saturday evening, a proper video premiere with the live chat and everything will get posted up. So, and I try to stick to the same times. I had a look at with longer format videos, with fairly evergreen content. It actually doesn't matter when you post. At some point, they're going to hit your audience. But I did want to be quite particular about the time of the live premieres, and that is simply because if you're going to go live and you've got a whole load of people want to come into your chat and ask you questions and take the mickey out of you, as most of my lot seem to. Obviously, you want to pick a time when most are online. So without even looking at the analytics, it tells you when most of your viewers are online, doesn't it? Without even looking at that, I just thought, what time are the Brits all sitting down? They've had the tea and they're going to be watching telly and YouTube. Okay, mid-evening probably. What time do the Americans all get home from work and sit down and have a tea? Well, obviously America's, because a lot of my audience are in America. There's several time zones there, so it's a bit of a tricky one. Anyway, I hit on 9 o'clock in the evening, which does seem to work. I mean, obviously, I'm still missing Australians, and we've got a friend in India. I used to stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and things like that. But the biggest chunk of my audience, I seem to have caught the time just spot on for them. If I do a live, though, which I tend to do on Wednesdays if I'm going to do one, complete live, live stream, I tend to do them at 8 o'clock because they run on for like an hour and a half and they're all still chatting away and asking questions. So I start those a bit earlier. But those sort of time slots also don't tend to clash with any of the other resin craft channels going live, which helps.
Yeah,
because I tried to look at when Toonfish Crafts, Daniel Cooper, Wendy's, Claire's Crafty Corner, Steve Donald, all those sort of people. what times they put videos out, and it misses all of those. So that's how I do it. Now, the YouTube for grown-ups, as I said, I just haven't got it to that stage yet because I haven't been organised enough. I was just getting to the point where I was going to finish designing the course I'm meant to be writing, and planning out and scheduling properly, doing some batch filming and all sorts for that other channel, when I fell ill again. So everything is just so behind, and in the meantime I'm under, I won't say pressure because that's not how they intend it, but the suppliers who send me stuff to show to people and to demonstrate on my channels are going, when's their video coming out, when's their video coming out, and they're not meaning to put pressure on, but I feel it as pressure. And those are all way behind as well now, and it's so in answer to how you plan it and schedule it, I write it in a diary and then I ignore it, and it's a mess.
It is a lot of pressure. I think that's one thing I'm trying really hard not to do now that I've retired, is fall into the trap of YouTube taking over my life.
Yeah.
It does feel like YouTube is a big part of my life at the minute, but I don't want it to feel like it's a noose around my neck. I want it to feel...
You don't want it to feel like a job.
No, exactly. I know. And I feel if I stick to a rigid posting schedule, I'm going to get that sense of pressure, and I don't want that. But I'm not sure if that's going to damage my growth.
I don't know. I think consistency does pay off, but to what extent it's vital, I'm not sure. One thing I have found recently is when I've been, because on and off, people must be sick of me posting up saying, oh, I've been poorly, or this has happened, won't be a video this week. But everybody's just gone, it's okay, we'll still be here, we'll see you next week. And people really don't mind. So if there's been these last few weeks when there's been days that I've just thought, I can put myself under huge pressure to get this video out, or I can just say, really sorry guys, there won't be one this week. And that's what I've gone for instead. I've tried to take the pressure off. I've also reduced the time I'm at the museum. I'm going to try and take that down to just 4 days a month. So it's Sundays when they need me most, so that's when I'll go. So I've still got my bit of sanity with that. But the rest of it is, I'm needing to back off some. I really am. So I've got to stand back and try and schedule it. I've got a YouTube coach who has helped me get my head straight a little while ago. And that was like a weight going. Because he just said, why are you doing that, Tracey? I don't know. Have you thought about maybe trying this? That's a good idea. Well, what's stopping you doing it that way? Yeah. Anyway, proper good bit of coaching. Very, very good. Because there's things I was thinking, I've got to get this done and got to get this out now. No, I haven't.
I think
so I'm trying to do that. Very easy.
Yeah,
very easy.
Thinking that everybody out there is sat with nothing else in their life to do other than wait for us to post a video.
We're just not that important, are we? Let's face it. No, it's a difficult one, and it's where I think where I put the pressure on myself is where there's business relationships started to come into it, like the suppliers. The people I've promised to do this course for. I mean, with my background, I could design a course and film it in a day, you'd think. No, it's become like the ironing pile, when you keep looking at it, and I'm overthinking it. And it's silly, really, because if I say to them, it's going to be another couple of months, they just go, okay.
Yeah. But then you've got that personal, professional kind of property, haven't you? So.
Yeah, but I'm also too easily distracted. Like, I know I've got this to do and that to do, and they're all things I want to do, and it's all, in my head it'll be planned because I'm ignoring my diary when I've written it. And I'll go, but there's a shiny thing over there that I want to do instead. Yeah. And so I distract myself way too easily. Like,
I know that.
Yeah, I was meant to be making a particular creation for a craft video that I've been meaning to get out for ages. And again, it was one of these where suppliers had sent me some lovely goodies, and I'm feeling responsible for getting that out there quickly. I owe it to them, So I thought, right, I've got all the molds, I've got everything ready. That terrarium there needs pruning.
Can I talk about the partnerships that you have with some of your suppliers? Are they sponsorship deals, or are they more promote our product and we'll give you some product?
They call them affiliate deals, so I'm an ambassador on 2 of them as well. But that seems to get interpreted differently as well. So my first one, which is my long-term supporters, I'm a massive fan of their products. I only link up with firms that I am a massive fan of their products. I'm very picky, and of the way they do business, their business models as well. The first ones, they used to be called Just For You Online UK. They're now called Apex Resin. Two lovely ladies who supply me with resin and EcoPore and ultraviolet curing resin and a few other bits and pieces in copious quantities, and it's very expensive stuff, so that's worth its absolute weight in gold. It's wonderful to use. So they supply me with all that stuff, but also I get a little bit of commission if people buy using my link. Similarly, I've got who else is there? Let's Resin, which is a very big, well-known, long-standing resin firm. Because I'm an ambassador for Apex Resin, I won't use Let's Resin's resin, because I've got kind of committed to only using the Apex resins, which I was happy to because I was anyway. Let's Resin send me other things, everything other than resin. So, for example, recently they've sent me ultraviolet curing resin, and I will use different brands of that, and a new ultraviolet curing lamp for it. Some marker pens, acrylic marker pens. And again, I'll get a little bit of commission. My viewers get a discount. That's always the first thing I expect. Will my viewers get a discount if they buy from you? And the bigger firms can afford to do that. Smaller ones can't. But I always make sure I understand what the score is with that. So the viewers do well out of it. I do well out of it. Let's Resin get their sales. So there's a few like that. Into Resin I'm now an ambassador for, but I'm not tied to their products. They make the most amazing handmade crystal moulds that I'm completely addicted to. So again, I'll get a little. They send me loads of stuff. I get a little commission if people buy the stuff.
So do you
and so
have
on.
a sort of set contract around how many videos you will produce for them?
Nope.
So it's more fluid than that.
Much more fluid than that. I won't commit to anything that's too restrictive, because I don't want to let anybody down, and I don't want to build up false expectations because my brain gets in the way too much. So yeah, and with the craft stuff, they don't need to, because if it's craft materials, I'm using it in every video anyway. It's the stuff will get seen lots.
Yeah.
So it just works by default.
Have you been sort of approached for specific sponsorship deals?
Yes, and I've turned 2 down. I've only been approached for 2 and I've turned 2 down. See, some of my suppliers, I don't get any commission, and my viewers don't get a discount either, but they just send me stuff. Some of them, I buy the stuff. There's no relationship other than that I love their products and I'm just wanting to support. So they all vary. Now, when it came to a couple of my affiliate deals that I got, there were some very unethical practices going on from their end, businesses. And both had offered, 2 particular firms had offered to sponsor a video for me. And when I saw what the proof of very public unethical behaviour on both parts, I basically told them where to stick themselves. Not terribly polite to me either. So I cancelled my affiliate deals with them. The one firm owed me a couple £100 in commissions, and I just said keep it. I don't want to be. I'm not recommending your products ever again. The other firm, we hadn't even got as far as any sales off the back of the arrangement. It was new, but both of them had offered an actual sponsorship of paying me both £250 plus the materials to make videos. And I just told them where to go, because I was not dealing. It's more important things than money. And I've watched a couple of the channels that did go with the deals that were on offer, and it has not done them any good at all, because people go, "Oh, it's them. Can we trust what this person's recommending to us? If we've seen that firm that they're now recommending, do this."
Yeah.
So I'm very, very picky, and I've been those 2 pretty sharpish, and there's another one that if they ever approach me, it'll be an absolute no. You're right in shot.
So I've had one email from a company, that's all I've had so far. And it was basically, we'll send you this product if you'll make a video.
That's the usual.
Yeah.
That's what most of mine are.
And actually the product was something I would never have used, and I can't see that I would. I'm not necessarily saying I wouldn't do a collaboration like that if it was a product that I hadn't used, but it was one that I was interested in and might want to try. But this was something I would never have tried.
I've had some absolute howlers.
But also, the value of the product was about £12. I thought, have they any idea how much time and effort goes into recording, editing, uploading? For a £12 product, I'm like, no, I think my time's worth more than that. And that might sound a bit arrogant because, I haven't got a massive audience.
I think you've got to be sensible. I turned down loads of them. There were some that were you wonder where on earth they've got your details from. One offered me a treadmill. You've heard what the state of my house is like. Where am I going to put one? And what are you saying? I could probably do with one. I know, but it's just got no relevance at all to my channel. And then every so often I'll get one that I think that's actually not something I do on my channel, but that is something I would buy and use. Absolutely. But because it's something I don't do on my channel, I have actually got to make a video specifically for it. And that's when you start to think, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple I've picked up recently that aren't, again, nothing to do with my channel, but I'm thinking they can be relevant because one is a cosmetics firm, and I do have issues with feeling that I look okay on camera, and it's a firm who does all beautiful cleanses, and again, it's a lovely UK-based firm. I read their website and it all just thought, that sounds like the sort of firm I'd like to deal with.
Yeah.
So they sent me all these beautiful cleansers and all these things. So I started filming that for them. So they sent me a load of goodies. And again, I'll get a little bit of commission if there's any sold off the back of it. But I thought that can go on the other channel, the YouTube for Grown-Ups, because I can do a thing talking a bit about how I found sponsorships and partnerships, but also how I feel about being on camera. And things I've done, like getting my nails done and stuff like that. But all the same, I go on camera with no makeup on quite happily as well.
I've probably shot myself in the foot when it comes to sponsorships and partnerships around skincare, because I've literally said I don't use any anymore. I don't wear makeup anymore, and I've got a bit of lipstick on, and I don't use any product.
This is why, because I don't tend to. People always think I've got makeup on in my videos. I have today, obviously. It's not at all filters. But my skin actually, this stuff's good actually. My skin's promised. Brought back to them. My makeup went on better today. I haven't worn makeup for a couple of weeks, and I've been using stuff. And my makeup went on better, so it must be nice. Anyway, so there's that. And then the other thing was I've been sent this mad tripod that I meant to bring and show you. You just bash the end of it, and it goes, and his little feet shoot out. And I thought, that's actually, if I'm going to be looking at how people film their hobbies on that other channel, I can very easily show that as, look, you're filming with your phone, because look at this thing. Oof, isn't that amazing? And it's only £40. It's not even expensive. So there are things that, whilst they don't actually fit exactly with the channels, if there's a good way that I can see a relevance and link them and make them feel like a natural fit with the channel somehow, then I'll do that. But the amount of things I've turned down, the one I did say yes to that I thought I could do something with, they've never got back to me, and I thought we got it all sorted. They make phone cases, and I'm somewhat addicted to phone cases, and we're all filming with our phones. So I thought, I could build that in, because some phone cases fit into your phone holder better than others as well, and there's all that to talk about there. Ones that you don't impede your filming. So there's some that I think I can make fit, and then some that I don't. But pretty much everything, other than those two ones that involved actual cash as well, that I turned down. Every other arrangement I've got is, we'll send you goodies.
Yeah.
And then they say, like the people with the tripod, they've sent me, these are the key things we want you to highlight, but do it in your way.
I think when you watch YouTube videos who are promoting products, and it doesn't bother me, I know some people go, I don't like the sponsorship bit. That's the way people can.
You want to watch videos free?
Yeah,
that's what you're going to get.
But when I think they work best when there's a seamless, almost a kind of a natural transition into the promotion of the product. I watch a van life one, and he gets sponsorship from things that are random, like suitcases. Well, most of us, if we're going if we're doing van life, we don't really use a suitcase that much.
No, you just load up the van,
Yeah,
don't
you load
you?
up the van.
Yeah.
But he promotes suitcases. He promotes stuff that doesn't seem to make natural sense with the style of his channel. And I watch him because I like his channel, but the sponsorships that he has they feel engineered to fit in, and it doesn't. I don't like that as much as the ones that feel like a much more seamless transition.
Yeah, well, and it's got to feel. The way I look at it is, if I think that my viewers would probably like to see this, and it is naturally part of what I'm doing anyway. I say, like the cleanser thing. I can actually build that in and say, look, here's an example. This is the sort of thing I've been doing, and thanks ever so much to Wild Mint for sending me this stuff. You know, and it's probably only in my head, and you probably all can't see this, but it makes me feel better. Yeah. So whatever you need to do for that sort of thing. So we can talk. You talk it in, you weave it in. And that's why it has to be something that you would use anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
And that does fit logically into your channel, because you're absolutely right. I mean, there's one of the big craft channels, not so long ago, he advertised a chair and which you couldn't use in your craft room anyway, a fridge, and various other... what? And it does feel like I've put an advert in the middle of my video. And yes, these people have sponsored him and sent him money. But there's already, for most people who don't have YouTube Premium, there's already adverts in there.
Yeah.
And it's a bit much. So I always want it to be, look, this is something I've got that I really genuinely love myself, and it feels logical to talk about it here and show it to you here. And if you just fancy one of these, then obviously there's a link down below, blah, blah, blah. But not, it's got to be a connect. Another thing you can do for smaller channels, obviously you don't need to wait until you're big to start reaching out for affiliate deals, and some of them you just apply and see what happens. So people like DJI, and I know you use DJI kit to film things, you just go onto their website and there's a button where you can apply.
So and they just accept some of this. So like Academic Sound.
Yes, that's one.
It's not sponsored, but it's an affiliate. But you don't actually get money from Academic Sound.
No, you get points or something. Yeah. But again, those
but
things
I love
all
Academic Sound. I have a real fear of breaching copyright and getting a copyright strike. So I know if I'm paying for Academic Sound.
Yes, that's what I did for a long time.
Absolutely, belt
some good
braces.
Stuff on there, isn't there?
And the music's lovely, especially for vlogging. And I have 2 subscriptions because I have 2 different channels, and you can only get money,
when I
covered for one.
When I got the 3rd channel, that's when I ditched Academic Sounds because of that cost.
Yes.
And I thought, what can I do instead? Nick and Dee Nimin have got a website full of free music we can use, and also I started using AI, and I kind of created a bit of a monster there.
Yeah.
And everybody's now got mad, silly songs on their videos about resin and glitter. Suno, yeah.
Suno, not Suno.
Yeah, but I tend to do mostly just instrumentals, so it doesn't feel AI-ish.
Yeah.
But they can just have the occasional silly one. But it's immense fun doing that. But that's a paid version as well, so I actually own the rights to it, the exclusive rights.
The problem with affiliate stuff, you can't just stick a link in your description, and that's what I tend to do, and that really doesn't work. You've kind of got to talk about in your videos as well, haven't you?
To a degree, yeah. I've got all the ones that I'm affiliates for, all of them at the bottom of the video description, because some of them have got discount codes for people. So in the craft, this is where some niches, the way you package the video for YouTube is different. With crafts, people do read the video description because there's freebies and goodies for them, in all the discount codes are in there. So that means that all of my affiliate deals take up probably 300 or 400 of the 5,000. Is it 5,000? They take up 3 or 5,000 words. Yeah, they take up over half of the allowance anyway, however many words it is. Because people will dip into them on each video and look for those deals. So I put them all in there. And then at the top of the video, I'll put the ones that are specifically mentioned in this video, which could be a link to my Amazon storefront, or it could be a link to somebody like Create and Bloom, who's my favourite resin colourant supplier.
Right.
Do you want a cup of tea?
Yeah, show that. That's a lot of tea being drunk.
I'd spend all my time in the toilet. It's not good.